Hey, what's up, everybody? PDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I'm trying to figure out two things. Two things I'm trying to figure out. One, um, how how do I approach these Laker games? As a person who talks about the Lakers every day, I don't have any belief that this season is really even worth watching, playing any of that. If I could end the season now, I probably would. Um, I think these games that we're playing right now, at this point, in my humble opinion, are meant for um, using players that don't get a lot of minutes, players that may not even be on the roster right now, should be called up and given opportunities to play. You guys know that already. You've heard me say it a million times. So I'm trying to figure out how best to continue to be motivated to talk about games as I have been throughout the season when, it's really not a whole lot to consider. But I do want to continue to talk about it because this is our team. This is the channel. This is what our channel is part of, mostly based on, and we care. We want our team to succeed, even when we're not playing for anything, even when there's no real goal to win a championship or make a play-in tournament or what have you. Even though technically we're still in that position, but you still want to see us win. So that's one thing I'm trying to figure out. And the other thing I'm trying to figure out is how best to go forward and kind of correct some wrongs, some things that I've said that just listened to didn't sound right. Assessing LeBron James' injury last night, saying that he was bow leg and that was why he rolled his ankle, and it didn't hurt. Not say hurt, but didn't take as much, didn't give as much. I am not a medical professional, so I wanted to make sure that I come back and say, I listened to myself and I realized that didn't sound the way I wanted it to sound, and I should just leave that type of assessments to people who know what they're talking about, because I do not. But what I will say is I do think LeBron James is built in such a way to where he's been blessed enough to be able to withstand injury, and I think the proof is in the pudding. That's all I'm certain of. And another thing, I'm not a mathematician. I think I said something along the lines of 62%. I think I said something like 6 out of 10, 62%. I don't know. My mind was telling me to recall what the number was that it said, and I think it said 62%, but I'm pretty sure that my math was off. So I wanted to get those right. That was mulling in my head over the past 24 hours, as I realized those are some really stupid mistakes, and we make those around here, but we also like to correct them. So moving forward, now the Lakers play the Dallas Mavericks tonight, and I believe that game is in Dallas, American Airlines Arena. Luka Doncic will be available, Jalen Brunson will be available, and Spencer Dinwiddie will be available. What does that mean? That means that all three of their main scorers, all three of their main go-to guys are going to be ready for whatever it is that we got going on tonight. They played in a game where those guys basically did the majority of what was going on. Reggie Bullock had a really good game in that one as well, so be aware that those were the hot hands in the previous game. Maybe that carries over into this one. Dwight Powell is a player they're going to be running at the center position. Dorian Finney-Smith is a Swiss Army knife player, as I always like to say. Kind of do a lot of everything. If you allow him an opportunity to go crazy, he definitely will. Certainly can stretch the floor as well, which makes him extremely dangerous. He tends to shoot the ball very well against us for some strange reason. So, given the fact that we gave up so many three-point shots against the Pels in the previous game, where we just got devastated, the biggest game of our season, we had a 23-point lead and blew it in current Laker fashion, as we always do, not matching up properly and ultimately just allowing things to get bad and stay bad. And so now we find ourselves in a situation where, if I'm not mistaken, we're either a half game or only a game. I think it's a half game above the San Antonio Spurs for the 10th spot. They're playing well. Got a lot of good players on their team, like DeJounte Murray and Johnson rebounding the ball and things like that. And then you got us, who we have a nice set of young players, but for whatever reason, we can't seem to keep good rotations on the floor and match up properly. And it's just like this. The Lakers have been able to overcome a couple of their problems, but we've had so many different problems all season long that we haven't been able to overcome all of them. Russell Westbrook has played better, even though he hasn't fully shaken off all of his issues. Over the past week and a half, he's been a much better basketball player than he's been throughout the season. So that's one issue you can check off and say, okay, we're not completely out of the woods, but at least he's given us something rather than taking from us over the last couple of weeks. So we're happy about him. That's one thing. We brought in some wings, Wenyen Gabriel and Stanley Johnson, obviously. Bringing in DJ Augustin helped with the shooting as well. So you do see some pieces coming in. Got rid of DeAndre Jordan. That was addition by subtraction. Bringing in Wenyen Gabriel now allows us to play small ball center in a more athletic way. And I think that gives us a dynamic that you can say solved an issue for us, even though we're not completely out of the woods with needing athleticism and length. We do have that piece, that Jeremy Grant-ish type of player who we can slide in at like 6'10 with long arms, 6'9 and long arms, and pretty much ask that he guard players both his size, bigger and smaller than him. So that was an extremely important dynamic that the Lakers needed, and we did bring that type of player to us. Fine, that's two problems. Still got plenty others. Still got an old roster full of guys that probably should not be on your team. You didn't waive all of them. Some of them are still in rotation. That's a problem. Obviously, you got Frank Vogel and all that comes with that. We've talked a lot about Frank Vogel and how it's incredibly important that we get either him out of here or bring to him the type of players that will allow him to be at his best. And I think at this point, that's obviously not possible, so we need to go ahead and fire him. We drug our feet with that. Problem still remains. Obviously, you're looking at the situation with the front office and the fact that we didn't make certain decisions we should have made that would have made this team a little better, in terms of trading at the trade deadline or adding more Wenyen Gabriels and Stanley Johnsons to help fulfill this roster, waiving more of these vets, as I've continued to say. More problems, front office decision making. And then you obviously got to deal with the fact that you got this the timeline, LeBron James, which means you got to speed up your process, and it kind of handcuffs you in regards to what it is you can and cannot do based on your salary situation, with your lack of assets, being that you've traded everyone away. Yet another problem. So you see, we can cover up 2 or 3, we can fix a few problems, but you have so many. And I think the weird position that the Lakers find themselves in currently, which is an extremely temporary position, but what it is you're mathematically in a position to still technically make the play-in tournament. So your ego and your desire to keep that Laker pride makes you want to fight for that. But I think the math betrays us, because we have the worst schedule left, most difficult schedule left, next to Memphis, who happens to be one of the best teams in the league. And then the teams that we're going up against for this 10th spot, this 9 and 10, have a pretty easy schedule. And they're a better team than us themselves. So, all in all, logic tells me the same thing it's been telling me for weeks. It's to ignore what it is that you can do and understand who it is that you are, and more so what it is you're going to have to face, and that you can't beat who it is that you need to face. Yes, you can get to the play-in tournament, sure, if you're lucky enough to win these next 6 games, which I don't think you are, but if you're able to do that, yes, you're technically in a position to make the playoffs. But can your team do anything other than lean so much on players who are currently injured, LeBron James and Anthony Davis, that you ultimately make them further injured going into the play-in tournament and playoffs, as to which you'll probably just go into the offseason anyway, but now with more so hurt players. Right now, we're looking at LeBron James with a swollen ankle. He's obviously doubtful for tonight. You got Anthony Davis also doubtful for tonight, even though that's actually a good thing, given the fact that he's been out for the last several weeks. I do not think either one of these players should play basketball for this team this season anymore. Period. Just shut them down. It's the most responsible thing for us to have done 3 weeks ago. Now, with 8 games left, of course it's the most logical thing and the most responsible thing for this franchise to do. I just don't think that they are in a position to make good decisions for whatever set of reasons. Good decisions are not coming from them right now, and that is why we're not seeing LeBron James get shut down definitely, or seeing Anthony Davis get shut down definitely. I always believe, and I firmly believe, that excellence, it really truly starts with good decision making. You have to assess your situation and then act accordingly. You cannot play politic games. You can't beat around the bush or walk a thin rope, a tight rope in regards to playing both sides of a situation when you know you have to make a firm decision and lean on what it is that you have to do. I think the Lakers need to figure out something in regards to leaning on which decision they're going to make in regards to LeBron James. Either you're going to stay with him, ride this thing out, and continue to see where it takes you, or use him as a trade piece and get the assets that you can get for that, and then go forward with your team. Now, last night we made a video talking about how I've changed my mind and want to keep LeBron for another year because I don't think that our front office, of course, is in a position to make good decisions. If they were to trade LeBron, I don't think they would get the best return for him possible, or do I think they would do well with what it is they get back. So, with all of that being reiterated once again, I just want the Los Angeles Lakers right now to shut everybody down. Anybody of value to us, shut them down. Do not force them to play hurt. THT, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, they should all be shut down for the final 8 games. Make sure that those very valuable contracts are not at risk for further injury. This is very, very important. Because if one of them go down over the next 3 days, and LeBron already showed us he did go down, right? Literally, we're already facing that. We are lucky enough these injuries aren't serious enough to make it so that they're rehabbing in the offseason. Do not push it, is what I'm saying. Don't push it. Because you are not like other teams. These guys go down, it makes a difference between not only you being able to be good next season, but possibly being able to be good for many seasons going forward. So that's what I got to say about that. Now, as far as the Dallas Mavericks, once again, it's just a matter of whether or not they're going to walk through the door that Frank leaves open for them. We know this. Obviously, with LeBron James and Anthony Davis not playing tonight, because we pretty much know they're not going to play. It's just going to be about effort and heart from guys who are going to get an opportunity. Who those guys are, who really knows? Because last time we saw Coach put Dwight Howard on the floor more so than we usually see. We saw less of Wenyen Gabriel than we needed, less of Stanley Johnson than we needed, less of Austin Reeves than we needed. It just seems like the direction for this team and what it is we're supposed to be doing at this point is just lost upon this coaching staff. They don't know what they're doing. Is simply what I'm here to tell you guys. You don't need Carmelo Anthony taking shots at the buzzer in this situation. Those should be players like Malik Monk, LeBron James, who had the hot hand even though LeBron was hurt. That should have been someone else other than Carmelo Anthony. He gets targeted defensively every single night. Why in the hell didn't we waive him a long time ago so that he can be on a team that allows him to win a championship instead of going down with the ship on this roster? I do not understand this. But we're playing vets in situations where we need to be playing youngsters. Vets don't get us anywhere in regards to trade value. I am tired of saying this every day, but there is nothing else to say in regards to the Lakers. They just don't do things correctly, and that is why they are where they're at. And fans are sick of it. And I don't expect to win on the road against Dallas. And Luka Doncic is a fantastic basketball player. Like I said, Brunson is going to ball out tonight. It's just inevitable. If he doesn't, Dinwiddie will. Guard the perimeter, even though we gave up so much, as I've already said. At the end of the day, you just want to see the team end the season on a much higher note than we've been suffering all season long. They've given us little bits of hope, little things to really root for, small victories. But for the majority of the season, it's just them. It's just you having low expectations for the team and them meeting those low expectations each and every night. So, thank God we only have, 7 or 8 more games. As I said, 8 more games left of this nonsense. All of those games we're favored to lose, all of them. And I'm just embarrassed to be a Laker fan this year. They give us nothing to work with in regards to standing up for the team. Nothing. You listen to people talk crap about your team and you just have to sit there and take it, because at the end of the day, they're right. And, we have no control over that as fans. So we just, like I said, use my voice as I always try to give you guys what I think can help, and hopefully it'll get to the right place. So that's what I got to say, man. The NBA is in a wonderful spot. I just wish that the Lakers weren't at the bottom of it. Okay, it's a lot of great talent out there, great teams. LA should have a part of that. We should have a future. Right now, we don't. Why? Because everybody who's in charge is chasing the past. Everybody in charge wants to be where they were 10 years ago. And quite honestly, it's not then. This is now. And it's time to revamp everything so that you can get into the present and be the team that you're supposed to be. So that's what I got to say, man. That's what I got to say. My name is BDF44. I thank you all for watching.